On the air, 24 hours a day. You are listening to SafiCast.net.
Is there in the worldly life and in the hereafter evil and a sickness, except that its cure, except that its reason and its cause is sinning and disobedience? Meaning, there's no evil in this worldly life and no sickness in this worldly life and in the hereafter, except that its cause is sinning and disobedience. And as we said, commenting upon the statement which is often repeated, it's only sins. And we say sins destroy nations. Ibn al-Qayyim continued. He said, فَمَا الَّذِي أَخْرَجَ الْأَبَوَيْنِ مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ? What is it that caused the parents to be removed from paradise? Dar al-Lizza, an abode of delight, wal-Na'im, happiness and splendor and joy. And they were removed from this abode to the land of pain and sorrow and calamities. وَمَا الَّذِي أَخْرَجَ إِبْلِيسِ? What was it that caused Iblis مِن مَلَكُوتِ السَّمَاءِ to be removed from the kingdom of the heavens? And that which exiled him and cursed him, what caused it? And that which disfigured his apparent appearance and his inner self, what was it that caused his image to be the most ugly and repugnant of all images? And what was it that caused his inner self to be the most ugly and repugnant of all souls? And what was it that caused a state of nearness and closeness to become a place of remoteness? And what was it that caused mercy to be replaced with a curse? And what was it that caused Iblis to be changed from a state of beauty to ugliness? And what was it that caused paradise to be changed and replaced with the hellfire that lights? And what was it that caused Iman to be replaced and changed to disbelief? And what was it that caused the love of Allah, Al-Wali Al-Hamid, to change into the greatest type of enmity and hatred and opposition? And what was it that caused the humming of tasbih, glorification, and the tahleel, magnification, to be changed to the humming and chanting of disbelief and shirk and lies and false testification and evilness? And what was it that caused the gown of Iman to be changed to a gown of disbelief and sinning and transgression? And what was it that caused Iblis to become worthless before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And what was it that caused Iblis to fall before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And what was it that caused the anger of our Rabb Allah, the Most High, to come upon him, and therefore he was lowered and humiliated? And what was it that caused him to be hated with the greatest hate, and he was mocked? And what was it that caused Iblis to come as a leader for every fasiq, sinner, and every criminal? And therefore he was pleased with this leadership, the leadership of the sinners, after he had been in a state of worship and a state of nobility. And then Ibn al-Qayyim said, فَعِيَاذًا بِكَ, and we seek refuge with you, O Allah. Allahumma, O Allah, we seek refuge with you from opposing your command and committing something you have prohibited us from. Ibn al-Qayyim continues. Again, look how sins destroy nations, not individuals. So there's no happiness with sins. No matter what name or what you want to refer to yourself as, sins destroy. And they do not discriminate, meaning between color and race. A sinner is a sinner. Ibn al-Qayyim continues, وَمَا الَّذِي أَغْرَقَ أَهْلَ الْأَرْضِ كُلَّهُمْ حَتَّى عَلَى الْمَاءِ فَوْقَ رُؤُوسِ الْجِبَالِ. And what is it that caused the whole of the earth to be drowned until the water, it reached the top of the mountains? Meaning sin. All of this was due to sins. وَمَا الَّذِي سَلَّتَ الرِّيحَ. And what was it that caused a furious wind to overcome the people of Ad until it made them and led to them being annihilated? So they were dead, all of them, upon the face of the earth. كَأَنَّهُمْ أَعْجَازُ نَخْلٍ خَاوِيَةٍ. As if they were hollow trunks of date palm trees. And that which destroyed this wind, this furious wind, destroyed everything in its way. From their houses and their agriculture and that which they have planted and their animals, حَتَّى صَارُوا إِبْرَةً لِلْأُمَمِ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Until they became a sign and a lesson of admonition to the rest of the nations until the day of judgment. Ibn al-Qayyim continues, وَمَا الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ عَلَى قَوْمِ ثَمُودَ الصَّيْحَةَ. What was it that caused the awful cry to seize the people of Thamud until their hearts were ripped from their bodies and all of them died? It was sin and disobedience. وَمَا الَّذِي رَفَعَ قُرَى اللُّوطِيَّةِ. What was it that caused and annihilated the villages of the homosexuals until the angels, they heard the wailing of the dogs, and until their land was turned upside down, and therefore all of them were destroyed. And after that, stones of clay came from the skies and rained down upon them. فَجَمَعَ عَلَيْهِ مِنَ الْعُقُوبَاتِ مَا لَمْ يَجْمَعْهُ عَلَى أُمَّةٍ غَيْرِهِمْ وَلِإِخْوَانِهِمْ أَمْثَالُهَا وَمَا هِيَ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ بِبَعِيدٍ. And therefore you saw various types of punishments being gathered, of which are not being gathered for a nation other than them. And their brothers, meaning the homosexuals who are like them, they will have the like of this, as this is not far from the oppressors. Ibn al-Qayyim continues, وَمَا الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ عَلَى قَوْمِ شُعَيْبٍ سِحَابَ الْعَذَابِ. What is it that caused a cloud of punishment to come upon the people of Shu'ayb? فَلَمَّا سَارَ فَوْقَ رُؤُوسِهِمْ أَمْطَرَ عَلَيْهِمْ نَارًا تَلَظَّى. And when the cloud it came over their heads, it rained fire, which set light and was ablaze. وَمَا الَّذِي أَغْرَقَ فِرْعَوْنَ. And what was it that drowned Fir'aun and his people in the sea? ثُمَّ نَقَلَ أَرْوَاحَهُمْ إِلَى جَهَنَّمَ. Then it carried their souls to the hellfire, and their bodies were drowned and their souls were burnt. وَمَا الَّذِي خَسَفَ بِقَارُونَ وَدَارِهِ وَمَالِهِ وَأَهْلِهِ. And what was it that caused Qarun to be swallowed by the earth, and his people and his wealth and his land? Meaning sin. وَمَا الَّذِي أَهْلَكَ الْقُرُونَ مِنْ بَعْدِ نُوحٍ. And what was it that destroyed those nations who came after Nuh with the various types of punishments, and it destroyed them in totality? وَمَا الَّذِي أَهْلَكَ قَوْمَ صَاحِبْ يَاسِينَ. And what was it that destroyed the companion of Yasin? With a loud cry, which they were destroyed. And this loud cry, it killed and destroyed everything in its way, and all of them died. وَمَا الَّذِي بَعَثَ عَلَى بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ. And what was it that caused a people to be sent against Bani Israel, slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with a terrible warfare? So therefore they destroyed their land and killed their men and took their offspring and their women as right-hand possessions or captives of war. And they burned their land and they took their wealth. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them upon them a second time, and they destroyed everything that they were able, and they destroyed everything with total destruction. Ibn al-Qayyim continues, وَمَا الَّذِي سَلَّتَ عَلَيْهِمْ أَنْوَاعَ الْعُقُوبَاتِ. And what was it that caused